Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. I'm your digital host, Tatyana White, and welcome back to another episode of the 48 Recap, the one stop shop to catch up on some of the top news stories of the week, including a man killed at a Huntsville gas station. An hours long police standoff leads to the arrest of a robbery suspect in Huntsville. A Huntsville daycare shuts down after accusations of child sex abuse. An attorney for one of the men charged with kidnapping a Huntsville realtor speaks out for the first time. Redstone Arsenal Gate updates. A dating app meetup goes wrong. One local nonprofit continues helping advance help for mental health in North Alabama. An empowering story of a woman who survived the unthinkable, weekend events, and so much more. I hope you all are having a great weekend so far. As you guys have probably heard, if you've been paying attention to some of our newscasts throughout the week, this weekend is 48 First Alert weather days, including today and tomorrow on Sunday, and that's due to the possibility of strong storms. And so make sure to download our 48 First Alert weather app, tune into our social media pages and newscasts, and we will, of course, have you covered as some of those storms start to come in. As of right now, some of those storms are probably not coming in until maybe the next hour or so, but we will have forecaster Jada Russell in the building, and she will have you all covered if things start to get severe, and she will come on live, and she will make sure that you guys are aware of what is happening in your areas. So let's get into this week's recap. We start with one of our top stories of the week out of Huntsville, where a family is mourning the loss of Michael Walters. He was shot and killed on Wednesday at the Texaco gas station on Highway 72. His family believes this is a case of mistaken identity. 48's Noah Cowell has the latest on this incident.
Huntsville police say 22-year-old Austin Ballesteros shot and killed 44-year-old Michael Walters Wednesday morning outside this Texaco after an argument between the two turned violent. Now only 2 days into grief, Walters' sister, Angel Roman, and the rest of his family can't believe they've lost such a loving, goofy, hardworking soul.
We can't process it. We can't comprehend it. It's a struggle I can't even explain. A battle that is so real. I can't explain it. It's horrid.
Roman says after talking to investigators, her family believes Ballesteros thought her brother was someone else before he pulled the gun.
A possible case of mistaken identity. My brother didn't know him, you know? And so that makes it worse. That life was ripped away.
She says what Ballesteros did was absolutely horrible, but because of her faith in God, she's already decided to forgive him. She doesn't want to be consumed by her anger, and she wants all the other hate online towards Ballesteros' family and hers to stop immediately.
There's enough hate and confusion to go around. I feel for his mama. She don't know what I'm walking through, but I don't know what she's feeling. I don't know what she's going through either. But I know they were thrown in this chaos as we were thrown in this chaos.
And on Thursday, our 48 crews were out on the scene of a police standoff. On your screen, you can see the video capturing a police chase in Huntsville on Thursday morning. Police say 58-year-old Jimmy Price was behind the wheel. This started around 7:30 that morning at the Home Depot on the Parkway, when police say Price threatened Home Depot employees with a knife, stole from the store, and led police on a chase where he hit 3 cop cars before his SUV broke down on Nelson Drive. Police say he then ended up in a 2-hour-long standoff with officers.
Looked out the door and there was probably about 7 police cruisers and a police truck pulled up behind a silver SUV. The SUV had some damage on the outside. The tire was destroyed, like it went off some barbed wire, something like that.
After 2 hours, police were able to get Price to surrender. He's in the Madison County Jail on robbery and attempting to elude charges. And a scary moment in Huntsville as a shopping trip ends with dodging a bullet Wednesday night. Huntsville police say a fight between a man and a woman outside the Cato store in the Walmart shopping center on University Drive ended with gunfire. 48's Noah Cowell spoke to 2 witnesses who saw everything.
That was the freakiest thing ever. I've never heard it. I've never seen anything like that.
Sandra Thompson went to Cato Fashions Wednesday night to buy a shirt. What she got was way more than she bargained for. She was inside when she saw two people fighting outside the store, followed by one pulling out a gun.
That's when I went, uh-oh, and I did this. I backed up. I grabbed the lady that works there. Come on, let's go. We don't know what he's going to do.
Huntsville police say the man fired a shot at the woman who was grazed by the bullet. That same bullet came right through the store window. Fortunately, she's expected to be okay, and no one was hit inside the store. The employee says the situation surprisingly de-escalated from there.
You could still hear them yelling just out of view, and then they stopped yelling, and then other guy walked away.
Witnesses say before the shooter left the scene, he stopped by the store to apologize.
He said, I'm sorry. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I probably would have stuck around for the police. I debated about asking him that, but I figured I didn't want to push the situation just in case.
That was real shocking. I'm like, guy with a gun apologizing. Could have blew all of us away. What kind of day is this? This hump day?
Now to an update on a Huntsville daycare in the middle of a sexual abuse scandal. Parents are now scrambling to find a new safe place for their children after the abrupt closure of Trinity Child Development Center. The daycare became the center of that scandal 5 months ago when a now former employee, Tatyana White, was arrested and charged with sexually abusing children. A letter was sent to church members announcing the closure, cited enrollment, operating costs, and insurance as reasons for the closure. Many local daycares already have long wait lists for space. One local mother says the cost of daycare is what's keeping her child off that list.
I live right between my mother-in-law and my mom, and so they split days and they are my daycares. At the same time, it's like $200 a week per kid, so my whole paycheck would be just going to daycare.
According to the Kids Count Data Center, the number of licensed child care providers in Madison County has decreased by 22% over the past 10 years. And we are hearing from the attorney for one of the men charged with kidnapping Huntsville realtor Ronald Dumas for the first time. We sat down exclusively with Torrey McLaurin's attorney, Chad Morgan. 48's Callie Neese has more on this story.
Torrey McLaurin is the third suspect to be arrested in connection to the kidnapping of Ronald Dumas. Dumas was last seen in December of 2024. He was caught on camera at a liquor store on University Drive with two women police called known prostitutes. According to prior testimony, McLaurin was in Huntsville that night. Investigators were able to prove this with license plate cameras and phone records. McLaurin's attorney, Chad Morgan, said these records could make this a complicated case.
There's nothing about this case that's going to be easy. It's already gotten a lot of publicity. But on top of that, it's going to be a lot of records. It's going to be a lot of cell phone things. It's going to be a lot of tracking records. And these cases are they're difficult.
Prosecutors claim those phone records show McLaurin and other suspects were all in Huntsville the night Dumas was last seen. And their phones pinged at several other locations over the next few hours, including up in Pulaski, Tennessee. Investigators say text messages were also shared between McLaurin and another suspect talking about torturing and robbing Dumas. During last month's hearing, those close to Dumas demanded McLaurin answer one question.
Sheree, what'd you do with his body so his children can sleep at night?
When we asked Morgan if McLaurin would tell the Dumas family where he was, this was his answer.
I don't know the answer to that, and I wouldn't be able to tell you if I did.
3 of the 5 suspects wanted in this case have been arrested. Kiera Clark and Quintarius White were taken into custody back in April of last year. Kiera Clark has been sent to the Madison County Jail, where she remains without bond. White still remains in the Shelby County Jail in Tennessee. Sabrina Chambers and Krista Cash are still at large. Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 on your side.
Now to an update on a former Coleman attorney accused of trying to kill her husband. Sarah Baker is now wanted by police after they say she broke her bond conditions by visiting him. Sarah Baker was arrested last year, accused of slipping fentanyl into his food and drink. She was released on bond in November under the condition she would not have contact with her husband. But court documents state she not only did that, but she also intervened in his medical care. Officials say she dropped off a medication bottle with a purple powder substance inside, which is currently being tested. Baker is still paying for her husband's care. Her attorneys say she has not made contact. She's only been dropping by to pay caretakers. Church leaders in DeKalb County are at the end of their rope after a car crash has put them and congregants in danger. It's the third time church property has been damaged by a driver in just over a year. Now church leaders are begging for something to be done about the road in front of the church in hopes that this will stop. 48's Will Eldridge has your story.
Want to spend time doing this over and over. Who would want? That's not what we're about. You know, we want Jesus to save people here, not paramedics. That's kind of how we feel, you know.
Roger Graham is the pastor of Henniger Baptist Church. He believes that Alabama State Route 40, where the church sits, is dangerous.
In the last 13 months, we've had 3 accidents on that curve. And so we keep it, you know, we notice that there's a problem.
Church leaders say because the steep drop-off, car accidents here end up on church property. Like this one 2 weeks ago when a driver fleeing police left the road and crashed into the church's wall. Or last September when a car crushed the church's sign. Church leaders say they don't want money, they want a solution.
We don't want to do this over and over again, so we just want them to share our heart, get their heads together, find out if there's federal funds or there's state funds, give us a permanent solution. And that's what we want, and we're trusting them to do that.
I reached out to AlDOT on this issue, and they told me, in part, AlDOT is working with the city of Henniger to address the issue, adding that guardrails won't work here because they would block sight distance on the county road that intersects with State Route 40. As far as the police chase that led to the most recent crash, I'm told Valley Head Police are leading the investigation. Pastor Graham wants to reassure church members that the sanctuary is safe. It is on the far side of the church from the road. Reporting at Henniger, Will Eldridge, 48, on your side.
Now to a 48 traffic alert for those of you who work on the Arsenal. Gate 3 has been reopened for specific times. After closing Gate 3 due to staffing issues, officials say it will now be open every day from 6 to 9 every morning. Arsenal leaders temporarily reassigned 1 guard to the gate, which they hope will ease morning traffic. Officials say a recent federal hiring freeze and long hiring process have made it hard to hire more guards. And more good news, facial recognition is back online at Redstone Arsenal, meaning traffic going into the Arsenal is about to move a lot faster. The facial recognition will be at Gate 1, Lane 3, and Gate 9, Lanes 3 and 4. If you plan to use this process, there are a few guidelines you need to follow. First, your car must be registered in the installation entry system. Secondly, facial recognition is only for solo drivers. When you approach the gate, you must lower all windows on the driver's side to verify that no one else is in the car. If you have other passengers, just use the other lanes. And remember, the trusted traveler is still suspended. Now to a 48 News update from last weekend. Guntersville police say they believe they have identified the people responsible for abandoning a dog outside a vet's office. The 2 were captured on video leaving the dog in a crate outside Lake Guntersville Veterinary Services last Sunday. Police say they won't release names yet as the investigation continues. Dr. Martha Howard says the dog was left without food or water, and without help, it likely would have died from heat stroke.
A huge problem in Marshall County. Again, it is a crime that is punishable by law if you are caught doing this. It's dangerous for the dogs, especially in the heat this time of year. They cannot fend for themselves.
Howard says there is currently a hold on the dog before it can be adopted. Anyone wanting to help with its care can contact her office. And on Wednesday morning, a fire destroyed an SUV at a Decatur business. The fire broke out in a garage area at Brown's Funeral Home on Memorial Drive. Decatur firefighters got on the scene quickly. They battled through heavy smoke to keep the fire from spreading further into the business. Thankfully, no one was hurt. In DeKalb County, the Animal Adoption Center is urging you to get your pets spayed and neutered to prevent overcrowding at shelters. Officials say they took in more than 300 animals in June alone, but only 25 found new homes. And because of the overcrowding, they were forced to euthanize more than 170 animals. They say that when your pet gives birth to an unplanned litter, it puts a strain on shelter resources.
And so a lot of the blame gets put on the shelter. And we're really trying to change that and trying to just get people to see that the shelter is an amazing resource to have for our community. And that does not need to be taken for granted, but it also doesn't need to be abused. And it needs to be, that responsibility needs to be put back on the owner of the pet.
Shelter leaders say another way you can help them is by volunteering or becoming a foster home. And millions of Americans are looking for love on dating apps. But how much trust can you put into a profile on your screen? In just one swipe, a match can turn into a dangerous date. And that's exactly what investigators say happened to one man in Limestone County. Deputies say a man was robbed at gunpoint on Stewart Road in Tanner while meeting up with a woman. The man connected with the woman on Tinder. Investigators say Erica Parr and another man, James Toney, confronted him and robbed him when he got there. Deputies were able to find Parr and Toney and arrest them. Both are charged with robbery and drug possession. It's an age-old tale, man meets woman. However, dating apps can quickly turn into a nightmare. 48's Aria Pons spoke to a sheriff about the dangers of love and how people can over-prepare to meet someone in person for the first time.
It's a match. So you get to texting and hope for the best. Best case, you find true love. But worst case scenario, you end up like the man from Lauderdale County who was robbed at gunpoint after meeting up with a Tinder date.
Anytime that you're meeting someone that you've never met before, there's obviously a cause to use a little bit of extra precautions.
Sheriff Joe Hamilton says whether you're in Limestone County or his own county of Lauderdale, you probably have access to this. And millions of people are using phones to date now. In fact, 30% of people in the U.S. actually use dating apps, with Tinder being at the very top.
Yeah, we have not experienced anything like that around here at this time, but it's very possible that could happen.
So what can you do? If
you're going out to meet someone for the first time, I'd advise you to share your location with your friends, tell them where you're going, use the apps like Life 360, let them know where you're at. And once you go to a place, make sure it's a very public, very busy place to meet someone at.
He says those are only a few ways to stay ahead if you do swipe right. Hamilton says you can never be too cautious.
Yeah, I believe that they need to have in their mind before they get there a good exit plan in case the situation becomes uncomfortable. Already have in their mind what they're going to do and don't hesitate to get up and just walk out.
And when it comes to the date, Hamilton says drive yourself and pick a very busy and well-lit place to meet. In Lauderdale County, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
And Alabama already has one of the highest rates of uninsured patients in the country, and hospital leaders say that number is about to climb, meaning longer ER wait times and tough choices for local hospitals. Alabama currently has one of the highest numbers of uninsured patients in the U.S. Records show over 94,000 fewer Alabamians enrolled in health care coverage under the Affordable Care Act this year compared to last. And for many, the ER is their only access to primary care. Dane Howard, CEO of the Alabama Hospital Association, says state facilities already provide over $650 million each year in uncompensated care, and some hospitals may be forced to make tough decisions to stay afloat.
The only way to make some things sustainable is if what you are paid for what you do is closer to the cost that it takes to provide that. There's not another business model for any other industry in which a business gives away 15-20% of every good and service they make for free and expect to turn a profit.
The Alabama Hospital Association says it is pushing for state and federal action and expects to have updated data on the number of uninsured patients in the upcoming weeks. And a lawsuit is moving forward against the city of Huntsville and a Huntsville police officer after a crash. The complaint states Hunter Zachary Wallace was driving on Taylor Lane near Highway 431 in January 2025 when he was hit by a Huntsville police cruiser. The lawsuit claims Officer Ronald Wineland failed to yield the right-of-way, causing the crash. Wallace says he suffered injuries to his head, neck, back, and chest, along with medical expenses and lost wages. The lawsuit accuses Wineland of negligence and claims the city of Huntsville is responsible as his employer. Huntsville police say they are aware of the lawsuit but were unable to comment. 2 people are behind bars in Lauderdale County after a drug bust at an apartment. As you can see on your screen, this is a bit of a scene of what law enforcement saw during the drug bust, and this happened earlier this week at San Noir Square Apartments in Florence. Police say this is what they found in the apartment bathroom. They say one man attempted to flush a large amount of synthetic marijuana down the toilet. Officers also say a child was in the apartment with a handgun and drugs within the child's reach. 2 men, James Long and Chester Amy, were arrested. Long is charged with drug trafficking and chemical endangerment of a child. Amy is charged with possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana. Officials say additional charges are expected. And it's never too late to chase a dream. And on Thursday, dozens of people are proving just that at Calhoun Community College. But for one mother of 3, this moment represents far more than a diploma. Daryl Green shares her journey.
The screen goes dark, but for Nick Azalea Mitchell, today is brighter than ever.
I can do whatever I want to do. For the first time in my life, I can do this. I'm smart, I can do this, I can handle this. And as a teenager, I never felt that.
That confidence didn't come easy.
I was a foster child. I grew up in the system. I was a DHR age out. And so there wasn't homes, there wasn't chances. And so I had to give up school and start work. And so after that, I had children and became a mother.
For years, Mitchell's dreams waited, while she made sure her daughters didn't have to wait for theirs.
And they're so happy. And so coming back after studying or studying late at night, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Because I'm showing them that your dreams don't just stop, they keep going.
If she could say just one thing to the young girl who never got the chance to finish high school,
don't change a thing, because I never stopped, I never gave up, I never quit.
This isn't the end of Mitchell's story. She's pursuing a career in nursing. She says her graduation is proof that no dream has an expiration date. And I absolutely agree. No dream has an expiration date as long as you keep pushing through. So congratulations on getting your diploma, and I'm wishing you all the best. And we all here at WAFF 48 are wishing you the best as you pursue your career in nursing. And a local nonprofit is closing its doors after 5 years of operation, but not before making its final investment into mental health care. You may remember Bradley Pugh, who was shot and killed by police during a mental health crisis in 2020. Pugh was shot 16 times following a 3-hour standoff on the roof of Ted's Barbecue in Huntsville. His mother, Adina Payton, later founded Getting Real About Mental Illness, also known as Grammy, to promote mental health awareness. Now, after nearly 5 years of advocacy, Grammy is ending its mission by donating its remaining funds to Wellstone, a mental health care provider. The $8,000 donation will support mental health services for first responders in Madison.
Well, I feel sad and very proud. I feel like that if we keep the momentum going, that it will help so many people, not only first responders, but the mentally ill, the parents of the mentally ill. So it's very important to not, go back to the way we were, where we don't do anything unless something tragic happens.
Wellstone is the largest mental health care provider in North Alabama, serving Huntsville, Madison, and Coleman. And you guys may remember I had Adina on my This Month Matters series to talk about Grammy for May's Mental Health Awareness Month, and she was great. I loved her story, and I love that she was able to take her son's tragic story and turn it into something where she helps first responders. And so I'm wishing her all the best and in all her future endeavors, and I'm so glad that the rest of the funds went to Wellstone, which I know will continue that mission on to help everybody in North Alabama with their mental health, and especially first responders who really get to see the ins and outs of trauma just throughout their everyday lives. And after surviving the unimaginable twice, Lisa Kimbrell says every new day feels like a second chance, and she's determined to make the most of it. 48's Gina Benitez introduces us to Lisa in this latest edition of her new series, Still Standing.
So I'm very blessed and thankful. God has truly, truly been on my side.
Looking at Lisa Kimbrell today, you'd never know the road she's traveled. But over the last 4 years, she survived what most people couldn't imagine. Not one brush with death, but two. And somehow, she's still standing.
I'm accomplishing independence, finally, and I feel like I can breathe for the first time since August 27th of 2022.
That's the day everything changed. Kimbrell had just left the Wavaho gas station in Lacey Spring when another driver slammed into her. The impact was so violent, she says her car spun 3 times before bursting into flames.
I was trapped in the car. It caught on fire. It took them 54 minutes to cut me out with jaws of life.
She was airlifted to Huntsville Hospital, where doctors quickly realized the extent of her injuries.
My backbone was severed from my tailbone. My pelvis bone, and my hips were so broken and fractured that they couldn't even repair them with surgery. But the main injury was a brain bleed and a torn aorta.
She spent months in the hospital and some time in rehabilitation. And after an incredibly difficult recovery, Kimbrell finally made it home. She had just started walking on her own again when tragedy struck a second time.
11 months into recovery, I was attacked by pit bulls.
She was rushed back to the hospital where doctors treated her bite wounds, but those injuries became infected. She went into septic shock. Then came another devastating discovery.
When they did the CT scan, they found that where the aorta was torn in the accident, and they put a graft to repair it, it was leaking.
Kimbrell was airlifted to Vanderbilt. There, more grim news. Her repaired aorta had ruptured. Her esophagus had eroded. The odds were stacked against her.
He was going to give me a 25% chance. That's the best he could do. And he said he's not even confident doing that.
Multiple surgical teams came together. Doctors repaired the damaged graft, then rebuilt her esophagus. And once again, Lisa Kimbrell survived. Now nearly 4 years after the crash that changed her life, she's finally starting to feel like herself again. She's back home near family in central Alabama and celebrating milestones many people take for granted.
And I'm thriving. When I say I'm thriving, I mean I'm eating by mouth. I'm breathing normally. I'm not wearing a diaper.
She credits her sister Becky, the doctors who never gave up on her, and the man up above.
And I feel like he has a purpose for me. I have not discovered it yet. I'm still searching, but it's there.
Gina Benitez, 48 News, on your side.
Wow, and that's just such a powerful story. I think I've probably watched this story like 3 or 4 times since it's been released, and every time it just gives me chills just to know that somebody went through so many things and still made it out on the other side. I feel like she is truly a warrior, and staying positive despite all that she went through, I feel like is so inspirational. And if you enjoyed this story, you can check out more of Gina Benitez's Still Standing series throughout the next couple of weeks in our evening newscast and on on our website at WAFF.com. And coming up after the break, we'll check out the latest sit-down interview I did for my series, This Month Matters, as I dive into July's Disability Pride Month with Disability Resource Network's Executive Director, Davina Patterson. We'll also take a look at some stories coming up in our evening newscast, along with some wonderful events happening in the Huntsville and surrounding area this weekend. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 48 Recap. Thanks for sticking around. July is Disability Pride Month, which is a time to recognize the achievements and contributions of people with disabilities and to mark the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed into law on July 26, 1990. For my recent episode of This Month Matters, I got to sit down with Disability Resource Network Executive Director Davina Patterson to talk about the significance of the month, the work her organization does across North Alabama, and its upcoming annual fundraiser, Reflections, a Fireside Chat. Davina shares the importance of Disability Pride Month and having their annual fundraiser. She also shares ways people in the community can help be more inclusive to people of all abilities. Important for you and your organization to make sure people with disabilities can live independently?
It's important to me because we feel that people with disabilities should have choice. They should be able to have control of their own lives, make decisions and choices like everyone else. You know, formerly there were things that were in place, or there were a lack of things that were in place, I would say, that protected the rights of people with disabilities, and other people were making decisions for them. They were being overlooked, and they couldn't even, they were, you know, they're adults. These aren't even minors. These are adults that can't even make a decision on where they want to stay, or who they want to be their medical provider, or if, you know, what classroom they want to be in. They were automatically placed in a special education classroom, or they were automatically, you know, their parent would still be their authorizer, and they're a full-blown adult. So I think it's about just valuing choice, decision-making, and like empowering them or instilling them to have their rights and to know their rights, as well as to give them a voice, and then letting them have control of their lives, make decisions. But also with that, aside from being a service provider, you know, we talked about our core services, and we do provide those core services, and we do a great job with providing those services. But Centers for Independent Living, people with disabilities, it started as a movement. It was all about getting our independence and having rights. So we not only are a service provider, but we also work on systemic and social issues. We were always on the front line of that.
And if there's one message that you would like for people to take away about Disability Pride Month, what would that be? And what would you say to encourage people to support your mission and support the fundraiser?
The message about Disability Pride Month is get to know people with disabilities firsthand. Talk to people with disabilities, engage with them, interact with them, build a relationship with people with disabilities. Also, volunteer and help out disability organizations. we could always use the help. Donate your time, your resources, whatever you have. During Disability Pride Month, as well as outside of Disability Pride Month. I think, we all could use volunteers.
Yeah, it was so great having Davina on again just to talk about this wonderful fundraiser that they have, and also just the wonderful work that the Disability Resource Network does and provides for the North Alabama community. I actually had her on and interviewed her last year as well in our streaming studio. And so last year's event was great. It was a very great, intimate setting, educational, and overall just very inspiring conversation when I went last year. And so I know that this year's Reflection of Fireside Chat is probably going to be just as amazing, and it will be held on Saturday, July 25th at the Alabama School of Cyber Technology and Engineering in Huntsville. The cocktail hour begins at 6 p.m. and the program begins at 7 p.m. and semi-formal attire is suggested. This year's keynote speaker is Dom Kelly, who is president and CEO of New Disabled South, which is a nonprofit advocacy organization representing 14 states across the Southeast. Kelly has cerebral palsy and has been a disability advocate since childhood. And so it's just going to be great. He is wonderful. He's a wonderful advocate. If you just look at some of the things that he's done and some of his previous speeches, he is great. And what I love about this and what me and Davina talked about in the interview is when you go to this fireside chat, it's literally like you're sitting around with other people, like listening to a story time around a fire, because it's not just a person at a podium talking. It's a moderator having a conversation, asking questions, a Q&A where the audience can get involved. So it's a very nice, conversation. It's not just one person talking to you the whole time. And tickets and sponsorship packages are still available to purchase online at drn256.org/fundraiser. And Davina said there were some tickets that were donated. So if you would like to attend, but financially you're in a place where you can't afford them, that's okay. If you just reach out to the Disability Resource Network, you can learn more about how to get those free donated tickets. And again, I loved when I went last year. It was great. It's perfect. You don't have to have anybody to go with. I know sometimes that can deter people from wanting to go because they're like, oh, I don't have a friend or somebody to go with. But truly, everybody is so kind, and it's just a great time and wonderful and inspirational. So even if you go alone, it will be perfectly fine, and it will be very inspirational. And to learn more about all the other events and resources the Disability Resource Network provides throughout the year, visit their website at drn256.org. And to hear more about the importance of Disability Pride Month, the Disability Resource Network, and the upcoming Reflections of Fireside Chat fundraiser event, the full interview can be viewed on our website at waff.com. Now let's check out a story coming up in our evening newscast. Muscle Shoals police officers are investigating a shooting that happened near Ford Street overnight. Officers said they were called to the area around 9:50 p.m. on Friday. They said the call was in reference to a domestic disturbance that turned into a shooting. One person was flown to Huntsville Hospital. Their condition is unknown at this time. Officers confirmed that this was an isolated incident and there is no threat to the public at this time. This is an ongoing investigation. As we learn more, we will keep you updated. And you can tune into our evening newscast to hear more details on this story and many others. And there are a few great events happening in the Huntsville and surrounding areas this weekend. Hopefully, weather pending, that these events will still be able to hold up. Tonight is the Bop to the Top party at the Electric Bell at Stove House, and it's going to be the ultimate Disney Channel throwback party. So, if you grew up watching Hannah Montana, and all those other wonderful Disney shows, this is a great event for you to go to, just a throwback early 2000s type of party for Disney Channel lovers. And it's going to be a high energy dance party packed with, again, those iconic hits from Hannah Montana, High School Musical, Camp Rock, of course the Cheetah Girls, Lemonade Mouth, and all of your favorite Disney Channel legends. And it's just going to be a great throwback night filled with fun and nostalgia. So tickets can be purchased online. Just search Bop to the Top in Huntsville and you will find the link to get your tickets. Also happening this weekend are Trash Panda games, and so tonight it's going to be one of those games. It's at 6:35. That's when the game starts, and it is Lunaticos night. You can celebrate culture, community, and baseball on Lunaticos night. The first 1,000 fans will receive a Lunaticos mask as they honor Hispanic heritage with a festive and high-energy night here in Madison at Toyota Field. And there will also be another Trash Pandas game tomorrow on Sunday at 1:05 p.m. And the Sunday lineup includes pre-game player autograph sessions and face painters. And when you stay after the game, kids can run the base. And don't judge me here, but after living in Huntsville for now a little over a year and a half, last night I went to my first Trash Pandas game against the Chattanooga Lookouts, and it was a really great time. I really enjoyed it, so I will definitely go back. I don't know why it took me so long to finally go to one, but it was a lot of fun, so definitely go out and enjoy those games this weekend, hopefully again if it doesn't get rained out. And these are just a few events happening around North Alabama this weekend. Not too much seems to be going on, as again our meteorologists are predicting some strong storms to move in the evening into the area, so just stay weather aware. But these are just some of those great events you can go check out. And again, stay hydrated, because even with the storms coming in, it's still pretty hot out there, so still stay hydrated. And again, anytime throughout the week, if you are looking for a fun or good event to go to, you can always check out huntsville.org's event tab, and we are huntsville.com's event calendar and other event websites across the Tennessee Valley to see more events happening in the area. That's all I have today for the 48 recap. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to tune into our 48's Weather Extra segments. Our meteorologists go live every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. and every Saturday and Sunday in the morning and afternoon. Forecaster Jada Russell will be joining you all in a few to give you all just some extra insights on this weekend's first alert weather days, as those strong storms are possible and could be coming in. And again, our Weather Extra segments are just another way to give you all those extra insights on the latest weather forecast. Also, throughout the week, you can check out our 48 Fastcasts, where we give you a recap of news happening that day right before our evening newscasts start. My fellow digital host, Ryan Hodges, he hosts the 48 Fastcasts on Mondays, Tuesdays, and every other Friday. And then you can catch me hosting the 48 Fastcasts on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and also every other Friday. And you can join us, you can catch up on all the news and weather happening around the Tennessee Valley. So just make sure to download our 48 News mobile app, our 48 First Alert Weather mobile app, and our 48 Plus streaming app, and follow us on our Facebook and YouTube channel so you don't miss any updates on the news and on the weather. So we have you covered across all platforms. And if you would like to stay connected with me throughout the week, please be sure to follow my Facebook page at Tatyana White, WAFF 48. I would love to connect with you all, or if you would just like to share a story idea, or if you just would like to say hello, please feel free to reach out and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Take care, everyone, and stay safe, especially again with the stormy weather. Stay tuned into our apps and on our TV newscasts with any weather updates. And I will see you all back here next Saturday. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend.